Assalamu alaikum dear students, hope you are fine, and this is your English period. Please open your books. Yesterday we read our lesson number 3, Anansi and 5. We read half of this lesson, and the other half we will complete just now. I want to give you a little recall about the lesson what we read yesterday. As you remember that Anansi, there are lots of stories about Anansi, and Anansi is a folktale character, and it is believed that he was changed into a spider by his father for not giving up his mischievous ways. And I told you the meaning of mischievous yesterday, that mischievous is a person likes to have fun by playing harmless tricks on people or doing things that they are not supposed to do. And you can say that mischievous is a disobedient or naughty, troublesome, a person who cheats or deceives others. So this word depicts the whole character of Anansi. And we read about another character of which she was the neighbor of Anansi. And when Anansi passed by her, she was reading a magic, and she was cooking a pot, and she was cursing that if somebody will call his name, he will disappear forever. And what was her name? Do you remember? Her name was 5. And as Anansi listened what she was mumbling in her mouth, he made up his mind to trick on some other animals. So we will read right from there, so that what has he made up and what he is planning for. Please keep your pencils in your hands and put it from the line where I am reading. Anansi rushed to the path that ran along the river bank between the village and the marketplace. After listening the mumbling curse of that witch, he left that place and he ran to the village, to the marketplace, where soon everyone who was going to the market would walk past. They would be on their way to buy the delicious yams, beets, pulses and grains that would be piled high in the market. Underline yams, it means a potato-like root from plant that can be eaten. And beets are, you can say, is a crop with a thick root used to feed animals. And piled mean to pile high. You can say a heap of something. So he was imagining why he was staying and going to the marketplace, because soon everyone was about to go to the market and they were going to buy these. He was imagining that they are going to buy all these yummy food. And Anansi set to work and piled up 5 mounds. Underline the word mound. It means a large pile of something, of earth near the path. Can you see the mounds here? They are the mounds, like mountains. They looked just like he had planted 5 yams. Then he sat down and waited for his victim. First to come by was little Mrs. Rabbit. She carried a basket full of sweet potatoes pieces and walked slowly because it was heavy. Who was the first victim? It was Mrs. Rabbit. And what was she carrying? She was carrying a basket full of sweet potato pieces. Anansi stepped forward and smiled. That looks like a big weight. Please rest for a while and help me. I don't know how to count, so I cannot tell how many yams I have planted. What he asked her? He asked her to stay for a while and count my mounds, because I don't know how to count them. Mrs. Rabbit, as you know, that rabbits are the innocent souls. So Mrs. Rabbit was kind, so she stopped. She put down her basket and hopped along the row, counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In a flash and a bang, Mrs. Rabbit disappeared. Why did she disappear? Because of the curse of that witch. And what was the curse? That if anybody will say my name 5, he will disappear forever. Anansi gobbled down. Underline the word gobbled. It means eat hurriedly all that stuff. The whole basket of sweet potato in seconds. He licked his lips and sat down again to wait. Wait for what? Wait for another trick or another victim. No, not longer after, he heard little footsteps on the path and looked up. It was Mr. Duck. He walked along with his chest held high and his feet made a slip-slap sound on the path. Students, they have depicted the picture of ducks. They usually have their chest held high and they usually used to walk with slip-slap sound on floor. Mr. Duck stepped when he saw Anansi and asked him how he was. It was the bad luck of Mr. Duck that he asked him. He stayed there and he asked him how he was. Anansi put on a glum expression. Underline the word glum. Glum means gloomy and sad expression. Mr. Duck, I have no idea how to count my yam plants. Can you help me, please? Mr. Duck bobbed his head and puffed out his chest even further. What is the meaning of this line? Underline the word bobbed. Bobbed means to move up and down repeatedly the hairs or head, and puffed out mean to huffing and puffing of breath or breath. So he was feeling, he was feeling quite high that he is asking me to count the yams. Well, Anansi, he said, it is quite simple. Start with 1, then it's 2, 3, 4 and 5. Mr. Duck disappeared. Instantly, all at once, Anansi ate up the lunch. Now, I know you will be wondering about Anansi's family. Did he think about them? Did he save any food for them? No, he did not. He ate everything without a thought about any of them. Students, so don't you think that Anansi was he was not only a trickster, he was not only a mischievous person, he was selfish at the same time, isn't it? That he did not even think for a while eating all that stuff. He didn't think about his family. Okay, next to come along on her way to the market to buy some tasty treats was Miss Frog. She did not stop when Anansi called after her, "Hey, please help me count my plants." She laughed. "No way, count them by yourself," she called over her shoulder as she hopped away. Don't you think that Miss Frog was a clever creature? She was a clever animal. That she was clever at the same time, and this was also the reason that Anansi was known and familiar to every one of them, that he is a trickster and he is habit to create fun for his own satisfaction. So that is why she loved and she didn't stay. It did not bother Anansi too much because he knew there would be plenty more chances for him to try his trick out. He did not feel disappointment. Why? Because he knew that if she does not stop, there will be many more. He imagined what delicious foods he would find. He did not imagine taking any of his hungry children, poor children, having so selfish father. He was going to eat as much as he could fit in his stomach and then come back and try the trick again on another day. Can you see here? He is resting here after eating lots of food, and he is not thinking about his family. A scurrying sound pulled Anansi. Underline the word scurrying. Move hurriedly with short steps. A scurrying sound pulled Anansi out of his daydream. It was Mrs. Shrew. On her tiny back, she had a huge lot of freshly made pies that she was hoping to sell. The lot was 3 times her size, and her face was red from the effort she was making. Underline the word pies as well. Students, a baked dish of fruit or meat and vegetables with top of pastry is known as pie. So what was Mrs. Shrew carrying? She was carrying freshly made pies, and they were so much that they were bigger, three times bigger than her size. Oh, Lady Shrew, how nice to see you. Sit a while and rest. I need your help to count my plants, and you can share your wisdom with me. Anansi grinned and showed all his sharp teeth. Underline the word grinned. Students, grinned mean smile, cunning smile, and showed all his sharp teeth. He was trying hard to be charming because he really wanted to eat all the pies. Mrs. Shrew was not a fool. She could see Anansi's eyes glisten. Underline the word glisten. Shine. Glisten means to shine or to sparkle as he looked at the pies. Well, Anansi, you are kind. I am tired. She put down her load. How can I help? I can't count. He lied. Can you count my yam mounds for me? Mrs. Shrew smiled. She walked to the nearest mound and stood on it. She pointed to the mound that was furthest, far away or distant from her. 1, 2, 3, 4, and this one. She said clearly. You know how she was counting it? They are telling us that she walked to the nearest mound and stood on it. Can you see how she is standing on a mound? She said 1, 2, 3, 4, and this one. Why she was saying this one? Because she was standing over that. Anansi frowned. Underline the word frown. Disliked. Do it again. Say all the numbers. He said 1, 2, 3, 4, and this one that I'm sitting on. Mrs. Shrew spoke slowly and clearly. A flash of anger passed over Anansi's face. Come on, say them properly. He was finding it difficult to keep a smile on his face. Why he was getting angry? Because if he was trickster, then Mrs. Shrew was also very clever. She was the lady of wisdom at that time. Again, Mrs. Shrew smiled sweetly and counted slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4, and this one here. She pointed to the mound beneath her feet. Say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, shouted Anansi. Instantly, in a big burst of sparks, he disappeared. Mrs. Shrew picked up her lot and set off to the market. She would sell these pies and buy mouth-watering delicacies for her family. Please underline the word delicacies. Delicacies mean treat or things or food to eat. The yummy food to eat. Students, you see, Anansi was doing all the tricks on poor and innocent animals, and he himself did the same trick on himself. You see how it happens. We read in this lesson that if someone will do bad with others, he will receive the same at the end. We saw how Anansi tricked innocent and simple animals, but someone was more clever than him, and she tricked him. You see, he was a selfish being and didn't think for a while about his family and kids. So we learned a lesson that there are consequences of making bad choices or being not good. If we will not do good with others, we will not receive good from others at the same time. So hope you have enjoyed the Anansi's character, his tricks on poor animals, and the end of the story also, and the lesson what we get from the story. Inshallah, with the exercises of the lesson, we will meet in our next session. Till then, stay blessed. Goodbye.